What's up, Internet? This is Morgan Straughan Comnick for another one of my book readings. I'm glad to see you all today. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, taking care of yourself, doing something awesome. For my nerdum today, I got my Pokeball hair clip, and what I like about this hair clip is it's made out of recycled Scrabble pieces. I have a friend who does Comic Con a lot, and she makes these. I also have a Power Ranger one with the original 6 and their emblems, but alas, the clippy part, because I've worn it so much, has become unhinged, so I have to fix it. And then Fighting Evil by Moonlight and Winning Love by Daylight. I've got my love here, Tuxedo Mask, almost every anime's girl's first kind of crush. And then I've got all the planets here on my necklace for the Sailor Scouts. I got this at Hot Topic for like $1. It was, I don't know, like it was in the bargain bin. There's no price tag. They're like, oh, we'll just go do for $1. And I'm like, cool. So today I want to highlight my second collection. It's my 4th book, publication-wise. My 3rd book, which I might not be reading to you, I'll have to see with responses, is the second one of the Spirit Vision series. But this is my second short story collection, and it is called Fallen Stardust. So it's more poem, short stories, scripts. But these are from my college years and the first 2 or 3 years at least when I was a paraprofessional or teaching assistant in my hometown. So right here, this is it kind of deals with more mature problems. I mean, nothing insane, luckily, knock on wood, but it deals with more kind of those adult problems compared to problems I usually have in high school. Again, my wonderful publisher made the art. I picked out the pictures and she did a beautiful job. So we kind of have like a sunrise in the first short story collection, and then we have this pretty almost nighttime dusk. And it has the same on the back. So, and like before, I don't know if you saw the other video, so just in case, a little recap. So what I do is there's a table of contents. I also dedicate each of these to 2 people, and then do like a 3rd, like special mention. So my other one was dedicated to my grandmother and Mr. Banger, who was my big inspiration to become a writer. And Miss Sue Balke, who was my choir director. She's very beloved by everybody that knew her. This one is dedicated to both my favorite Nancys. Nancy Mahan, who is my 5th grade teacher. Still probably my favorite teacher of all time. Still very near and dear to my heart. We're still good friends. And Mrs. Nancy Stroud. She was our seminar or homeroom mother for 4 years. And she basically was my high school mom and really took care of me. And I also dedicate a little part to Elvis Presley, because Elvis is a big part of my life, and you can read more about that in the acknowledgements. But you got a table of contents here. We start with the poetry, and then short stories, and scripts, and all this stuff. I did quotes that I wrote in high school for the chapter or section openings. I didn't have enough of those for this, because I'm really not going to teach you anything, guys, other than be an otaku. So what I did is I found this old notebook that myself and 3 of my best friends in high school all would pass around for like a year and a half, and I just found like these really silly quotes in there that we did. They don't make any sense. Like, I don't know. There's one here that I said crab people look like crowds, but they talk like people. I have no idea what we were talking about, but I just thought it was funny. So I put like a quote or 2 from each one of us as like section breaks, just to make you go, what is happening? Like, something's changing. Again, I don't know. But I'm really excited about this collection. I got a lot of works in here that I think really kind of express who I am and just growing into adulthood. Because a lot of people think it's just like a transition. It's not. It's quite a journey and quite a process, even in a small town where I live at. Okay, so the poems that I'm going to be reading for you today, one of them is called Fire. And I did the same thing. It's just not as fancy as in the first book, but I tell you a little bit like the year I wrote the poem, maybe where I was at, if something inspired it, but what I was trying to get out of the poem. I mean, sometimes I was just bored. Sometimes there was like a very deep meaning to me that I wanted to express. That way it makes it a little bit easier for you to connect to the work and not just focus on the deeper message in it. just enjoy it. Okay, so this is called Fire Fire, and I wrote this in 2000 and almost 18, 2008, because I was in college when I wrote this. So Fire Fire. Fire Fire burning burning, fire fire blazing blazing, fire fire sizzle sizzle, fire fire drown the drizzle, fire fire ignite ignite, fire fire out of sight, fire fire untamed untamed, fire fire feel no blame, fire fire smolder smolder, fire fire you're a soldier, fire fire destroy destroy, fire fire ashes your toy, fire fire wild wild, fire fire engulf no child, fire fire ember ember, fire fire never dimmer, fire fire flame flame, fire fire you have been framed. That was really fun to piece together all like the synonyms and adjectives for fire and make it kind of cohesive. I really enjoyed doing that. Okay. Oh, that's much longer than I thought. I did do some poems based on manga and anime, which I talk about in the little descriptions up there. So if you're interested in that, those will be there as well. I did like a series of like Japanese, almost like pop lyrics. I went for a phase with that, but turned them into poems. Oh my gosh, some of these are super long. And I do have the silly little drawings I did. My heart's so loppy here, but that's based on Cardcaptor Sakura, the third season wand. The power of your star, my love, because Sakura uses the power of her star all the time. But yeah, I have some poems in here that I've written for other people. I've got poems that are just kind of silly in general. Like I said, I wrote Japanese. Like one's about an apple. It's like a Japanese pop song singing about apples. So that's kind of goofy. I think I'll share the last one with you guys. This one I actually remember writing. I was a paraprofessional or teacher assistant again at my local middle school, and they watched a video on lightning safety, which I never thought would be a thing, but it was really fascinating. So it kind of inspired me to try this little poem that I called Chasing Lightning, and this one was written back in 2014. It's the last poem in this book. Fireworks of nature dazzling to the eyes, searing your vision, burning the flesh. A clap announces the wonder, the fanfare enters silently. Darkened day, lightened night, zipping, zapping, crackling, crashing. Luminous trees gone in a blink, captured by static, partner to twisted winds, sibling to the pouring tears of the sky. Can you catch its tail? Feel it coursing through your veins, your feet tingling, planted smoked, your dreams sizzle, your resolve pops. I'm not sure who to preserve the choice to of chasing lightning. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a little bit about chasing lightning. My favorite script I ever wrote is in here. It's kind of a parody or modern retelling of Hamlet, if you know the Reduced Shakespeare Company. If not, look them up. They are fantastic. The complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged by the Reduced Shakespeare Company. I did a whole college lesson with a partner. She was awesome, based on that, and the script's in here. I got to stab my not language teacher, college teacher, my education teacher. It was fabulous with the sword. It was great. It was great. And then a poem, I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. My short story in here, I have a historical fiction one about World War II through the perspective of a Japanese soldier. And it's actually gotten some minor recognition and awards, so I'm excited about that. I usually read that one when somebody selects this book. When I go read to middle schools and high schools, that's the one I usually read the first few pages of that. But I'm going to read actually a different scene in that book. So just a little bit of background. It's called To Bear a War. And it took a lot of time to do this book. But the main character, he's a Japanese soldier at the very beginning of World War II when, they were moving out. young man, had ambitions. He's fighting the war. He's accepting it. It's for honor. It's for his country. But, you know, he's just kind of indifferent about it. And he mysteriously gets a box. First he's like, how is a box getting here? But inside it is a handmade teddy bear. And with the simple message is, let us look at the cherry blossoms again. So it makes him think about this girl that he knew when he was in middle school, I believe, and how he might have maybe had feelings for her, and they got to look at the cherry blossoms together. But she vanished the next day. Her and her family disappeared. And he hadn't thought about her in years, but this bear is kind of triggering these memories. And he starts using the bear as a symbol, almost like a physical crutch to keep hope alive during this war as things get worse. But the bear starts showing also that maybe the bear is more than just a bear. Maybe it is magical. I don't know. So in this scene, we're going to see kind of what the bear can do. And this is from my short story, To Bear at War. A few hours later, we were in formation at our base, lined up in a perfect line so straight that a ruler would assume we were one of them. I was at the end, standing in attention as sweat trickled down my neck, my mind focused on only my superior in front of me. He gave us directions for a new formation we would be trying later to better our odds. As our superior spoke and bugs began trying to attack my face for my helmet, I broke off a small piece of myself to think about Kuma in his little box sleeping peacefully. Kuma is the teddy bear, and Kuma literally means bear in Japanese, so his bear's name is Bear. And his bunkmates do make fun of him. That the girl's name is Kimiko, and she's going to be brought up in a minute. Was Kimiko sleeping peacefully as well? She mentioned her family had done something wrong. Was she punished for her family's mistakes, their shortcomings? And how bad could it have been for them to sneak away in the middle of the night with no warning like thieves? I rubbed my free hand at my side with my fingers in circles, using the feeling of Kuma's fur to calm my soul. I could not get rattled on the battlefield because of a past I decided to resurface after all these years. I chanted like a mantra. Kuma, sunset, hope. Kuma, sunset, hope. My hand lifted on its own as if I was hoping Kami-sama would see me first if it struck out to answer my wishes. Look out! A crackling sound entered the airspace and heat was coming toward my body, the air popping and sizzling around me. My eyes absorbed a line of fire, engulfing flames coming right towards me. I used my hand that was already raised to push the guy next to me on the ground, which in turn knocked the guy next to him down as well. We thudded hard on the ground, plastering ourselves to the dirt like it was a security blanket. Yellows, reds, and oranges danced in front of my closed eyelids, the world feeling like a stove. It was the longest few seconds of my life, but the colors were gone, and only the smell of burnt earth and the taste of utter fear were left in me. I opened my eyes to see my unit staring at us and extending their hands outward to me, and the guys I knocked down to help us up. My legs shook madly. My superior came over to us on his mighty horse. Are you all right, Private? I gulped and replied to my superior the way that I had been drilled into my head, confirming I was all right and how I humbly apologized for wasting their time, dishonoring our troop greatly. My two brothers in arms next to me did the same. The superior nodded curtly towards us as we stood straight in line, into the line formation again. The second in command for our training rode up to the superior and told him the cause of the near disaster. Sir, there was a leak in the air hose, which is why I thought I had control of where the flames were going. But the leak made me lose control slightly when the force of the fire came out. But that was enough to cause damage. His face was respectful, but I could see panic in his eyes, and regret although he tried to fight it. A general who cared for our safety gave me the hope I was searching for earlier. Hope. The superior cleared his throat and looked directly behind me, swallowing hard before addressing me. I tried to stay rock still. My eyesight is not what it used to be lately, and I am not fond of these new flamethrower monsters, but we were requested to use them since there has been success with them in other units. I directed the aim and fire, so I am responsible for this. If I had not seen your hand up, Private, I would have not noticed the flames were going towards you until it was too late. I apologize for my failure. Thank you, sir. I bowed and then stood straighter than a new piece of lumber used to build a fine house. He nodded, and him and the second in command rode off on their beautiful horses, telling us we were dismissed for lunch. Dismissed, Dismayed, I turned my head slowly behind me to see the torch land. How the dirt had become an incinerated black hole deep enough to bury a fourth of our unit alive in. That could have been me, burnt alive, my flesh eaten by flames melting into the ground. The only reason I was spared was because I raised my hand, the hand that touched Kuma, the hand that was thinking of hope. Kuma saved me? Or was it maybe Kimiko? I marched forward to our base for lunch in a daze, thanking my savior, whoever they were. For some reason, an image of Kimiko laughing and hugging Kuma crept into my brain and projected into the sky overhead. One thing I knew for sure was that I was going to watch the sunset that night, breathing the fresh night air while the sky winked with stars. Kuma would be on my lap, comforting and enjoying it with me. It may not have been the soldier thing to do, but that is what I did that night, thanking the world for sparing me. For once, hope felt like it was in my grasp. Sorry, Mr. Comnick came in. Okay. And that is a little bit from my short story, To Bear at War, which is in my second collection, Fallen Stardust. Again, you can get this on Amazon. You just type in Morgan Straughan Comnick, or if you don't want to try to spell strong, because there's too many letters, Morgan Comnick is fine as well. This book is $10, or if you want an autograph copy, again, autographs are always free. You can contact me and we can make an arrangement. The ebook is also $1. Okay, guys, make sure you stay safe out there, take care, and live your best nerdy life. Jane!